provides a certain amount of motivation to these men as they carry out their work. And then you look now at the party leader. How popular is the party leader? So we have looked at the economy, we have looked at crime and security. Now there are other factors, that people vote on. But the popularity of the party leader is a factor going into the election. And we in Jamaica have largely gone with popular leaders. Manley, yes. The Fresh Prince, we were enamored by the magic of Portia Simpson. Bruce Golding was not as popular, but the emotive part of the politics, the motive part, you remember the whole Clark's thing. These are things that especially drive young people. It's an attachment, it's not substantive. It is not pragmatic, more popular, but you have to mix in the popular part of it because we are human beings and we are creatures of emotions. And so if you appeal to the emotions, or that which appeals to the emotion drives people, it creates momentum. And so when the Labour Party, for example, is publishing its poll, its internal poll, which shows that Andrew Holness is 12 points ahead of Mark Golding, that is significant because, as I've argued before, I suspect that about 20 of the members of Parliament in Parliament today on the Labour Party side owes their winning of their seats to the popularity of the leader. And there are research to back that up, because I think 6 out of every 10 persons who vote for a party, vote in the election, vote either for the leader or for the party. So out of every 10 person that goes to the poll, 6 of them are going to vote Labour or PNP, no matter what. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how well the government performs. It's not going to move 400,000 people to vote for it. It's not going to do it. Even in 1980, when Jamaica was on the brink of whatever there was, the JLP was winning all the seats, the PNP still was able to get a significant amount of the votes. And so there is party loyalty in voting. People don't necessarily vote, oh, the economy is growing, oh, no man. There is loyalty to party, and people vote for that. And then you look at the stability of the country, the social stability. One of the things I want you to observe as we get to the election is the amount of protests that you're not seeing. Protests where there is social unrest, where there is a high level of social unrest. It suggests that there is unease with the government. Opposition parties, I must tell you, use this as one of their trump cards. If they are able to create the impression that there is social unease, which leads to protests. You remember there was a time in Jamaica when every time you turn on the news, there's a protest. People are protesting for water. People are protesting for roads. They're protesting for bad services at the hospital. They're protesting. All type of things were happening. And that was as a result of the bad economy that we had. Yeah? There is not a lot of social unrest. When last have you heard people strike in Jamaica over income? You see, I'll bring you on UIC. I bring you on. When last have you had people striking over salaries? You remember when we used to have, every teachers a strike, nurses a strike. You remember Edith Alwood Anderson, the JTA. We could say a little bit more about the JTA, but let that. Okay, all right, and then the electoral history and trends. So economic performance, we're talking about how we do political forecasting, crime and security, party leader popularity, the social stability and unrest in the country. Now, if you look at all of these that I've noted before, you'd realize that the government is not scoring badly on any one of them so far. Okay? So on economic performance, out of 10, how much would you give them? And when you are going to be scoring, you have to look at who are you matching them on. You can go ahead and give your score on the whole matter of crime and security. Are we making progress in that area? How would you score the government? In the whole matter of the stability of the country, the social stability, how would you score them? And then, of course, you look at the electoral history and trends of a constituency. Not even the blind would bet on the PNP winning West Kingston. So you see what I'm saying? This is where now the electoral history and trends come in. You think the GLP will win down at Portia Simpson's constituency there? Where is that? You think over in East Kingston? Not going to happen. So that is the history. So there are some constituencies that, based on the voting trends, the historical trends, you know where those are going to end up. And so you look back at elections for the last 5. We look back at the last 5 elections, and we look at the margin of victory, right, in those constituencies, and those are going to be helping you to determine what the likely outcome is going to be. And then, of course, if there are polls available, we factor in that also. In the last election in 2020, the polls that were done in Jamaica were pretty accurate. Every one of them predicted a landslide for the government, and it was pretty accurate. So if there are polls available, we factor those in. And then there are external factors that you have to look at. There are external factors not related to Jamaica. For example, what is happening in the United States with the threat of tariffs, how will that impact export and the prices of export? Will it affect the price of oil, for example? Jamaica has to export a lot. How will external factors affect? If a war should break out in some countries, it will have an impact on us, just like the COVID virus had on us. And of course, when you go now down to the constituency level, you have to look at the historical voting patterns. You look at demographics, for example, income levels in a constituency, the level of education, the occupation. You could study Portmore. Portmore could tell you a lot about demographics and income levels and candidate popularity, because where you choose good candidates, for example, who, let's take a Christopher Tufton, for example, there's a name recognition there. Let's look at another cabinet minister, Horace Chang, Ed Bartlett. They are members of parliament, that I don't know their names. I have to look at, go research it. They don't have a presence. You understand what I'm saying to you? They don't know it, apart from the local people in their constituency. Nobody else don't know them, but then there are candidates, there are cabinet ministers have an advantage. So the seats that the cabinet ministers are in, you can look at the popularity of those persons. And Floyd Green, he's very vocal. One other thing you look at too is you look at the party's conference and you see who it is that they put up to speak. These are people that they are trying to get the country to know. It benefits the constituency. Rhoda Crawford, yes. There are Matthew Samuda, Desmond McKenzie. You know those names. But who asks people who is Bruce Henriquez? Nobody don't know. And of course, you look at party strengths. You look at the party strength, the organizational capacity of the party. The PNP has historically been strong, organizing on the ground. The whole matter of funding, because if you don't have the money to run the election campaign, then you are likely to not do well, especially in a country where some of us tend to be transactional. So how is it that you are able to mobilize your voters to get them out? This is how we look at it, so that we are able to forecast. And I can bet you that we are able to forecast the results of the elections, constituency by constituency, using these forecast points that I've told you about, and that is how we have been able to do it. I can tell you, based on our forecasting so far, that there are 28 seats that the government is likely to hold on to. Welcome UIC. It's UIC. 28, and that the PNP is starting the election with 16. So they have I'm going to take you over to the West next week. I know that you are anxious, but bear with me. There's a lot we have to cover, and I want you to understand that we don't come on here without doing the research. We do not come on. This is why we don't come on every day, because it's work. We have to. Yes, I think there are 4 political parties in Jamaica. 4 registered political parties in Jamaica. I don't know if my listeners want me to give them a little history about third parties. They haven't fared very well. The NDM did before the NDM, and you know why the NDM did as well as it did. It really was a second JLP. So there is, you see, it's very, very difficult to break through the 2-party democracy in Jamaica. But we have the UIC online, and Asta Black too. Is Asta Black, the Asta Black party registered? I'm not so sure. Good afternoon, UIC.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. This is Joseph, President of UIC.
Could you speak up a little, because I'm not hearing you so well?
Sure. Let me try. Is this any better?
Go ahead.
It's Joseph Patterson, UIC Jamaica President. How are you?
Joseph, how are you doing?
Not bad at all. What's your name?
My name?
Yes.
No, I've lost you, Joseph.
I was asking you what your
So
name
we
is.
have online the president of the UIC, Mr. Joseph Patterson. Mr. Patterson, tell us about the UIC, how are you preparing for the election?
Well, as you were pointing out a while ago, the UIC is one of Jamaica's 4 registered political parties. Everybody knows the other 2, the main 2. They those that have been around for forever, and the UIC is the 3rd registered party. We are working on building our presence and building awareness and educating the Jamaican people on what is really happening so that they can inform. It's not just about voting, it's about understanding the political process so we can know what
Is
we're.
it a futile attempt, though, Mr. Patterson? Is it a futile attempt at this time to even, are you wasting your time?
Well, it depends on your vantage point. If you are like some persons who believe that Jamaica cannot do better than the two parties that have been running the country for 80 years, then clearly it's a waste of time to such a person. If, on the other hand, you're a Jamaican who have grown frustrated with what you have seen over the years, and you want to see a better Jamaica, a Jamaica which is Jamaica which is clean and orderly, a Jamaica where all of us can actually live, earn, and retire with dignity, then you will want to find out what is the problem and how can we break the gridlock, how can we break the stranglehold that these two parties and their financial backers have over.
But very few people in Jamaica, Mr. Patterson, know anything about your party. What it is that you are offering to the Jamaican people at this time that they should give up the Labour Party or the PNP to vote for you. By the way, isn't this the party that came out a couple of years ago and promised that they were going to pay off Jamaica's debt?
No, it's not.
No?
No. You are confusing us with another party.
I'm sorry about that. But tell us, what is the philosophy of your party? What it is that you're offering the Jamaican people?
What we're offering the Jamaican people is new leadership and a new system and have a new and better Jamaica. Basically, we're offering the Jamaican people good governance as opposed to bad governance. If you look at what we have had for the last several years, which many have gotten used to, that is a system of bad governance. It's a system that was given to us by our colonial masters, and we have continued unabated. We have mastered the divide and conquer system. We have bought into being divided into two hostile tribes, as PJ Patterson called us, and we continue to fight for the scarce benefits and spoils of corruption. And so the UIC is here to educate and empower the Jamaican people to take back their country, realizing
How many candidates you're putting forward for the next election, sir?
though, we're talking about a very uphill battle, a very difficult battle. And persons like yourself, by the way, I was listening to you keenly, and you have spent a lot of time doing your research, and you have articulated well on the various issues of safety, economy, inflation, unemployment, and so on. But one thing you haven't done, which I'm going to encourage you to do, is to spend the same amount of time and evaluate what is really happening and why it is that Jamaican people appear to be locked into a vicious cycle of flipping between parties that consistently leaves us worse off as we move over the years.
Worse off would be a stretch, though, Mr. Patterson, because I would argue that when you look at Jamaica, and I've heard you make this point too, that I don't know that we are worse off today than we were 9 years ago.
Well, if you look at the information being presented by the Prime Minister and this team, what is being presented by the opposition, between the two parties, you're going to have various fluctuations. For example, you mentioned one. You mentioned, for example, debt to GDP, where you have pointed out how we have come to a significant about 143%.
If you could speak up a little, sir, because we're having a little difficulty hearing you.
Sorry, I don't know why you can't hear me very well, but I'm talking right into the mic. I hope I'm doing that right. So what I'm saying here is you spoke about the GDP, the GDP ratio, and you pointed out that we had about 143 to 1, right? The debt was 143% of GDP, and today we're about 70 odd percent of GDP. That's one of the statistics you heard, which on the surface is a very, very good statistic and would put the government in a very good light. But if you were to dig deeper into this equation, into this statistic, you'd want to ask yourself the question, why did we go to 143? And what was the price that has been paid by the Jamaican people to get back from 143 to now 70? What really happened and what is the price? So the headline statistic sounds very good and very nice. But who brought us there and why did they bring us there? And what was the cost of bringing us to where we are now and who was benefited? So, for example, a big part of that debt was the debt that was created by the government of the years where they borrowed monies that did not result in commensurate development of the country. And therefore, all that happened was that the Jamaican people were taxed and starved in order to pay off a bad debt created by two parties that engage in a lot of bad governance, which in a simple
One more than the other, though, sir.
yeah, sorry.
Because I think when we do the analysis, we must
Yeah.
we must present the facts to people so that they understand. The politics is polarized, sir. And the fact of the matter is that we need to speak truth. And if truth is to be spoken, the party in government today has done a better job at the wicket than the other one. And I think I've heard you made that point.
No,
But every time I'm going to search for the clip and play.
I fully understand the point you're making or trying to make, and we suffer in this country from people trying to make this point as to which of the two are better. Um, it's not really which of the two are better. It is about looking at the effect of the system. Let's say, by your argument, that one of the two is better. The system that we're in will
Well, I
move.
wouldn't even want to talk about better, Mr. Patterson. I'd
No, but
like to look at
I want
I'd
to.
like to
I'm going to
look
make a
at
point.
the
I'm going to make a
sorry.
point here, though. I'm going to make a point here, which is critical. Let's say we follow the argument that we, the Jamaican people, have been trained to be a part of, which is which one is better, and we go back and forth between them. The net result of the going back and forth is the selling off of the Jamaican people's asset, is the capital of the nation, the wealth of the nation being concentrated in the hands of a few, is the education system resulting in more and more for people being fully dunce than being able to be high performers in terms of productivity. And so the net result is the people of Jamaica are declining and depreciating while we fight between which of the two is better.
Yeah, but I think where we have to go now, Mr. Patterson, we're a few months out of the election. What it is that you are offering the Jamaican people that that is going to compel them or force them to
Well,
take you seriously?
sure.
What
We're
is
not
it
going
you are offering?
we're not going to be able to compel them or force them to take us seriously. What we have to do, though, what we have to do is to figure out, and we have figured it out, and it's a difficult and slow
But you
process.
can't bring in policies if you're not in government, sir.
Hear
You
what I'm
have to get state power to be able to deliver on your vision.
listen.
So what are you doing to get state power?
So what we're doing is what I'm explaining to you. So we are a third party in a system that you have described as you have done. So what we're doing now is we're building towards the day when we're elected. So we're not in a position like the other two where they're getting, for this election, they're going to get some $500 million from the PSOJ oligarchs to fund their campaign. We don't have that. We will
Aren't
not
you
have
a registered party, sir?
Yes.
So why is it that you don't qualify for that?
No, it's not a matter of qualify. There's no legislative process whereby a political party qualifies for funding from the PSOJ oligarchs. What you have is a corrupt political system designed to give the oligarchs, like it did before them, the plantocracy, and like it did before them, the colonial masters. So those who want to run the country a particular way, once they're the ones with the money, they get to buy the parties. And so for the last 80 years, the two parties that we have been voting for, they're bought by the same entity, so to speak. So regardless of who the Jamaican people vote for, the behind the scenes entity, which is not necessarily one, person, with many, many persons, or not many, but a few persons, they are called the PSOJ oligarchs. That's what I call them. So these are the wealthy Jamaicans, the wealthy corporations. And prior to now, we also had wealthy foreign, entities like Trafigura, for example, that would pay money in order to control our politicians. So regardless of who you elect, so whether you elect the green or the orange, at the end of the day, the policies will never be ones that will mobilize and uplift the majority of Jamaicans. It will ensure that you do just enough to keep people from revolting, but of course, never really lifting Jamaican people from where they are to where they should.
But some would argue, Mr. Patterson, that a vote for your party is a wasted vote because there is no likelihood that you are going to prevail. One of the two major political parties currently in Jamaica, either the JLP or the PNP, will form the government.
Actually, the only wasted vote you have in Jamaica are those which are casted for what we now know based on history, based on data, we know will be failing us again. So whether you're voting green or orange, you know that's a wasted vote because it's going to result in the same outcome that we have had for the last 8 years. Now, if you notice
What outcome, Mr. Patterson?
if you notice the trend, more and more Jamaicans over the last few elections have been opting not to vote.
No, Mr. Patterson, what outcome you're talking about over the last?
Okay, let's look at the outcome. After every single solitary year, our dollar will decline. That's a given, right? You can bet on that. If you're a betting person, you can bet with 99.9% certainty.
Because we have to produce more, sir.
No, well, I'm not talking about whether we have to. I'm saying this is the result. So the result is that. The result is a decline in our productivity, and you're going to have a dollar which continues to decline. You're also, if you go back and look at the trend, the result is going to be high inflation that inflates away the value of your purchasing power. That will be the result. Another result is Jamaica will continue to be a very unsafe place in which to live and do business. Whether you quote statistics that says murders are down 300 or 3, it doesn't matter. The general tendency and trend will be a very corrupt country, B, a very unsafe country, C, a very inflationary country, and D, a low dollar value country.
Yes, but Mr. Patterson, I think as I sit here and I listen to you,
Yeah.
the people online, whilst they appreciate these points, and I am not sitting here pretending as if to say everything is okay in Jamaica. We have a far way to go, and in terms of delivering the kind of Jamaica that we can all be proud of. However, these are the choices they have before them. The choices before the Jamaican
No,
people.
those are not the choices. Those are the choices that the PSOJ oligarch has given them. You see, as long as you teach that to them, and you get the people to believe that, they will believe that they're powerless, that they do not have the power to rise up and fund their own party.
But then this is your responsibility, Mr. Patterson.
No, that is not my responsibility. This is our responsibility. You see, I am one of 2.8 million people living here and
Yeah.
4 million Jamaicans living abroad. Now, I may be one of the few that have put my life and my life resources on the line to see if I can help us to come to our senses.
You put your life, Mr. Patterson.
Oh, geez, yes. We can talk about it another time. But let's stay on track here. The bottom line is this. What I am doing, I am giving us an opportunity to become aware and to join hands and see if we can fix it. Now, as long as they have nice sounding persons like you, intelligent persons like you, who have the
Who have some?
Who? Well, let me.
So I'm not a member of the Jamaica Labour Party.
I'm not saying that you're a member of any other party. You don't have
So
to.
why you say they have me? Nobody don't have me, sir.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you who have you. The same people who have managed to give us the system we now have. You ask me what the UIC is offering. We're offering the Jamaican people a new system of governance. I'll give you a few examples, just a quick few examples of what we're talking about. Right now, in the current system that we have, you don't have proper separation of powers, which means they don't have proper internal controls, which means the likelihood of corruption undermining your government is very high. The UIC fixes that by having proper separation of power between the legislative branches, not just one, the two of them being properly separated from the cabinet, which is the executive branch, and from the judiciary. These are things that sounds intellectual, but if not done, the Jamaican people will never have good governance.
Are you a
Also,
dual citizen, Mr. Patterson?
boy, you're all over the place. See? Yes, I'm a
No,
dual
no.
citizen.
Really, this is an interactive show. I'm putting the questions that the listeners are
I
asking.
okay.
And I don't think it's an irrelevant question in the context of where we are as a nation and of course the recent debates
Yes,
around the
I
opposition
am.
leader.
Well, I am a dual citizenship. A dual citizen. Yes, I am.
You are okay. That's nothing to
No,
not.
I just said you're all over the place, but I know I see why because I see that the person raised the point in the comments,
Yes,
which
so this is what I'm saying. I ask the questions that the
yes,
people ask. It's an interactive. And but Mr. Patterson, tell us therefore, because if we are going to vote for you, I am not a partisan person, sir.
yes,
I am a Jamaican that feels that a lot of our people have been hoodwinked and dragged down a path, and I'm trying to see if I can pull them up. I'd love to help you too. Tell us, Mr. Patterson, what are your plans for Jamaica? You are
well,
asking Jamaicans
most
to vote
definitely.
for the UIC. What it is? How different are you from, for example, what are your prescriptions for growing the economy, for
Absolutely,
crime, for
absolutely.
health, for education?
Yeah.
Do
No, of
you have
course, as you
policies?
know, yeah, as you know, of course, just to be
Do
very
you have policies that are outlined on your website, for example? Do you have spokesmen and women that can articulate these things to the Jamaican people?
right. So yes, yes to all of the above. So let's talk about a few of them, eh? So as you know, in a talk like this, we're not going to be able to give you a white paper kind of description, but I'll kind of describe a few things. Jamaica has some key economic advantages that can be explored immediately without, recreating the wheel, if you will. One of our greatest areas and asset is tourism, which we have severely underutilized by following a model of concentrated, all-inclusive hotels instead of building a community-based tourism product
Give
that
us
would,
some bullet points, Mr. Patterson. We don't have all evening. Give us some bullet points
but that's what
as
I'm
to
saying.
huh?
I'm just giving you one. So I'm
Yes.
saying,
What we are going to have to do, you see, is to shed. I tell you the truth.
yeah,
I'm on a little bit of time constraint, but go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So one of the biggest areas is community tourism. If we were to see the Jamaican people for what they are and invest in them, the people of Jamaica, so that they can offer a beautiful tourism product in their communities, in their homes, by making every community look, smell, and feel like a tourist resort. So you're bringing the product of tourism right into the streets, the nook and crannies, the corners, the West Kingstons, the Orton Courts in Hanover, the Bethel Town in Westmoreland, the Elam in St. Elizabeth. You want to bring the tourism right to the people and let them spend the money directly with the Jamaican people, buying our yam and our dasheen and our banana and our food and our entertainment right there, as opposed to building a product where we get large numbers on paper, but the model that they have causes less than the optimal amount of money to stay in the economy here. That's one example. And we have many more, but I'll leave you with that one for now.
Yes, I'm actually on your website, sir, and I've pulled up your manifesto, and I'm trying to look at it. It's interesting that I'm going to take a read on it, and I'm probably talk back to you. But Mr. Patton, tell me, why don't you join the Labour Party?
Oh, because if I were to do that, it would be like you knowing that something is a gang, and then you go and join the gang, and then say that you're going to do something better. Both of these parties, if anybody do just a little bit of history, will know that you're dealing with two entities that if you were to properly define them, they're organized criminal entities. If you were to properly
Let me tell you something, Mr. Patton. I see the now Secretary of Health in the United States, R.F. Kennedy,
yes,
who was a Democrat,
yes,
who was running for president himself,
yes.
teamed up with Trump. Trump won the election, and he's now able to influence policies as far as it relates to health in America. Because there are pathways to get to where you want to go. If the Labour Party offers you a vehicle that you can travel on to get to that path, why don't you accept that rather than taking this tangent that may not lead you eventually into Garden House?
Well,
Because it is not likely
I tell you,
that for the next 10, 15 years you are going to be able to break through.
I
Join
put,
with one of the parties, and as I've used the example of JFK, you may very well get into the Senate, into Parliament, and from there you could persuade or influence some of the policies that are presently on, because you have some good ideas. I see them up here online. You have
I,
some good ideas, but we
those,
don't know about them.
let me
The
respond.
Jamaican people don't know about them, sir.
One of the reasons the Jamaican people don't know about them is because the media is controlled by the same people who fund the parties, and they have ensured they have worked day and night to make sure I'm not seen. But that's aside. That's aside.
Hello, neighbor.
Sorry,
Good night, sir.
I have some co-hosts, sir.
Okay, that's aside.
And they
I want
probably
to
want to engage you at this time. Chuck
one,
Finley and
I,
HR
I,
Guru
I,
is online. Go ahead.
I, I have been trying to have this conversation with Mr. Patterson for the longest while.
Yes,
Because, as you said, I have visited Mr. Patterson's website. I have heard him speak, right?
yes.
But what he has never explained to anybody is some of the great policies that he's put forward. He has never explained how, as a country, how Jamaica will pay for those things. He has never explained that some of the policies he wants will requires great constitutional reform, but he's not willing to give up his dual citizenship in an effort to achieve those, right? So,
How credible is that, Mr. Patterson? If you're a dual citizen, we just went through a huge debate where the opposition leader had to give up his, and of course, other members of the party. How credible are you with
We're
that?
not sure. We're not sure if the opposition leader has given up his.
That is
We're
true.
not sure.
So how
We're not
credible
sure.
are you
We're
as
not sure.
somebody seeking political office in Jamaica? That you are a dual citizen.
well,
Wouldn't that be one of the first things that you should do, sir? Is to say, hey, or is it that you're so sure that this won't work out, so you're not even.
no, I've been very, very upfront and clear from the very beginning. I've never hid, like some people, I've never hidden the fact that I'm a Canadian citizen, that I have a Canadian passport. I
Uh-huh.
I'm a part of I'm one of 4 million Jamaicans who have been made economic refugees because of the governance of our country. And I am not ashamed to declare that because of that economic refugee problem created by our government of the last 80 years, that
Mr. Patterson,
that I am
you're not
that
allowed to just come here and throw some fancy terms out.
I am now I am a dual citizen. Now you're asking me if I am willing to give up my dual citizenship in order to pursue the game of politics in Jamaica, and I say absolutely not. On the no
You're
side,
not prepared to give up your dual citizenship.
no, listen carefully. On no,
Even if you were to you know enter into Garden House, you would still. But could you be prime minister?
let me tell,
Sure,
yeah,
could he?
by law, I could be prime minister based on the law, but outside of that, and just let me just tell you clearly.
Based on the law, he could be, but the reform that we are now going through would prevent that.
Let me, let
Uh-huh.
me listen. I want to be very clear with you now. You guys sometimes you don't want to hear the full answer. I will not be renouncing my Canadian citizenship in order to run for office in Jamaica. I never will. Because my country is at such a state that it would be massively disadvantageous for me to do so. I'm an international business person and I travel around the world. My Canadian passport allows me in several countries without any form of issues whatsoever. I value my Canadian passport and I will defend it and keep it until my country decides to accept good governance so that we can be similar.
Let me hear you now speak on the Jamaican passport.
Sorry, say that again.
No, speak on the Jamaican. I just hear you speak on how you love and value your Canadian passport. How do you feel about the Jamaican passport?
Oh, I feel very discouraged. I'm very disheartened that my Jamaican passport, because of the way my country has been operated, doesn't enjoy the same kind of privileges as a Canadian passport.
Like, tell me some of the privilege that the Jamaican passport doesn't afford.
I want my Jamaican passport to be no less powerful than the Canadian passport. I want to be able to travel on my Jamaican passport around.
I need to know some of the things that you can do with your Canadian passport that you can't do with your Jamaican passport.
Here, I just explained. I've summarized it for you.
You gave me general terms. I'm asking for specifics.
Right, and I don't have the time to give you specifics. It's not worth it. I give you a general outline already. The general outline is very simple. I can travel freely around the world with my.
Yeah, I think Mr. Patterson is quite clear. Mr. Patterson, how many seats are you contesting in the next election?
We are going to be fielding anywhere from 13 to 30 candidates. It's a very difficult
13?
process. Yes, from 13 to 30. It's a very difficult process to find qualified and competent persons who are willing to risk running for office in Jamaica outside of one of the two colonial parties. It's a very difficult thing. People are afraid of you wouldn't know what victimization I undergo daily. Jamaica is not a democracy. And many Jamaicans are unaware of how vicious and ugly and dirty this country is. And we have turned a blind eye to it and just play the political game that they have coached us to play. But I'm not in that game. And back to an earlier point, that's why I would never, under any circumstances, join one of those two parties. I would rather never, ever be elected in this country than to join one of those two parties. I don't want power that badly to sell my soul to join any of those parties.
You're in it for the long haul, Mr. Patterson. You're in it for the long haul because it's not like you're.
I'm in it for the long haul, but not just the long haul. I'm in it for good governance in Jamaica. If I die trying, I will die trying. But I'm not going to sell out my values and my morals and my desire for good governance by simply opting for the easy path of joining one of the two gangs. And I know that they're gangs. I'm not guessing about that.
HR?
Well, neighbor.
Go ahead, sir.
Neighbor, I came up with a few questions, but I got the answer to them. So I got the answer to them without even participating in the conversation, neighbor. I got the responses that I need that I wanted. But I just want to say this, neighbor. I just want to say this, Mr. Patterson. I heard Mr. Patterson's song and dance about his dual citizenship, and let me say this, neighbor, and I can go. With that kind of mindset, Mr. Patterson, you will never see the handles of Gordon House. You will never see it.
It doesn't matter.
You will never get the support that you need because you said, according to you, sir. Wait, according to you, sir, you said you care about good governance.
See the problem, you guys are focused on having power.
No, you need it. You need it if you're going to make the kind of changes that you want to make, Mr. Patterson. You need it. Anywhere you go, you need political power. Anywhere you go, you need it.
What you have to understand, the end does not justify the means. I am prepared to work towards the end, but I'm going to do it in a way that preserves my values. That's very simple. So if in the end, the Jamaican people say, go away, like many have said, we don't want you, that is fine. I will go away. I will simply do my best, offer my best, and then the Jamaican people can say, go away. We want what we have, and they will have what they have. That's all. But I'm not going to sacrifice my values and my morals. I am not going to join two entities that I know from insider information is a rotten, scoundrel, corrupt gang.
We hear you, Mr. Patterson. I want to thank you but maybe I should ask you, Mr. Patterson. Did you hear the comments Mr. Patterson made, PJ, last week?
Yes, I heard them. I heard them.
You
Yes,
have you have a comment on that, sir?
yeah, man. I wrote on it on Facebook, and really, I mean, Mr. Patterson, PJ Patterson, really should have kept quiet. He has in my books, PJ Patterson. He has had, by the way, the greatest opportunity. He and Edward Siaga has had the greatest opportunity to transform this country, and I'll tell you why. PJ Patterson has presided over 18.5 years, but even little more than that, because while he was behind Mandy, he was still the lead. You know, Mandy relied heavily on PJ. And so he has had more than 20 years to shape this country, to fix the problems of this country, to set up a Jamaica that we would all be really, really proud of. No other party has gotten such a straight stretch of time and opportunity. And what PJ Patterson, together with Omar Davis and others, did in the 1990s through their high interest rate policy and their I don't know what to call it, what they did with the banks. That was just unbelievable. The recklessness they did with our banking sector. And then the subsequent sellout of the Jamaican people through this FinSAC program, they have set this country back some 50 years. Patterson,
You said you think that the PNP has set back Jamaica 50 years?
50 years.
Yeah.
With what they did was unforgivable. Unforgivable. So he should be hiding. In fact, if we had a proper governance structure, he would be in jail, in all honesty, for what he has done. That is high treason, what they did. Now, putting that aside, I want to speak about Mr. Siaga. And by the way, I have the greatest of respect for some of the things that Mr. Siaga came up with and, and tried to do. But he is the only prime minister who ever had 100% control of the House of Representatives.
Say that again, because a lot of the young people, for example, did not know that in 1983-84 he had 60 seats in Parliament and could have appointed all the senators and did not.
Exactly. Is that about a matter of did not? I mean, he was playing a game there, which, the bottom line is this. He had, by virtue, two instances. When he won...
And he could change the constitution, sir.
Exactly. When he won the 1983 election, the 1980 election, with the full backing and support of the Americans. And as a result of that, the Americans opened the floodgate and let out all of the grants that they had backed up and all of the loans that they had backed up that they withheld from Manley, and rightly so, because Manley was going to take Jamaica in a direction that would have made life even worse than it is now, to be honest with you. You're talking about, I know they said that they weren't going to go communist, but I am certain, based on the actions that Manley was taking, that Jamaica would have ended up into a communist dictatorship. I'm certain of that. And my mother was a strong supporter of Manley, and I grew up around it. I was involved.
Without cutting you, sir, because I know where you're going. But why hasn't Siaga been credited with?
No, I'm coming to Siaga. I digressed a little bit just so you understand context here.
Yes.
So when Mr. Siaga came to power in 1980, winning the ugliest election we've ever seen, where some 800 Jamaicans or more were murdered by fellow Jamaicans in the interest of partisan politics.
The election, yes.
Funded by external forces on both sides, giving our young men guns and creating the gangs and the garrisons and the mammoth crime monster we have today.
I don't have no evidence of that, do you, sir?
I know you don't, but I do. So now we continue. Mr. Siaga, when he won that election, he got a windfall where people were foolishly believing he was an economic genius. He had a windfall on two levels. One, the grants and loans that were withheld from Manley because Manley was a madman, a very articulate, a very charismatic, somebody with the right kind of personality that could lead Jamaica forward, and he squandered it. Mr. Siaga got all of that money in a flood, massive investment, foreign investment coming into the country, into the wrong things in some areas, and monies that was held back from mandates. So he looked really like a genius, which he wasn't. And he squandered that 2 term that he had, including the final term where he had 100% and could change
When you
Jamaica.
say squander, what do you mean squander?
He could, well, for one, he run up the debt tremendously, and did not spend money in the areas that they should have been spent. He overseen one of the largest corruption enterprise in Jamaican history. And worse than that, when he had the chance, because he had full control of both the House and the Senate, and could have changed the naked, destructive, colonial, partisan constitution that we have, he chose to keep it and made sure Jamaica followed the trajectory on which it was laid, which has brought us to where we are.
Mr. Patterson, good night. Good night, Interpreter. Hello, neighbor. Can I add good in the box to me, please? I don't like how Mr. Patterson talk.
Sorry.
Mr. Patterson, stop, don't be biased. Good night, sir, Mr. Patterson. No disrespectful. Good conversation. I like how you talk, but you're not talking on a balance scale. Good, come in the box. Come, add good in the box. Add good in the box. Mr. Hello, neighbor. Good night. Goody. Goody. Yeah. Ada, see her there. Go over the eyeglass.
Mind that
What's her name on
Goody. She name original Goody.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll see her now. Great, she's coming now. Original?
Good night. Mark, I will tell them to come up in our box.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm listening to Mr. Patterson. Make him finish and then I'll respond.
Go ahead, Mr. Patterson.
I was going to respond to the gentleman who said that I am being biased. Now, we're all being biased. Like any one of us who speak, we speak from our vantage point. So if you're a supporter of the orange crew, you're going to speak with a bias towards them. And if you're of the green crew, you're going to do the same. Now, I have taken the path of not being a member of either crew. And even though my mother was a strong, a very strong supporter of one of the two parties, when I turned 18, I told her with no uncertain terms that I could not walk in her footsteps. What I have seen and learned, because I paid attention to history, I was a Hayes student in history, and I studied history outside of Jamaica. I looked at the wide expanse of history. And when I studied what these two parties, under the funding of first the plantocracy back in the 1930s and 40s, and that plantocracy evolved into the PSOJ oligarchy. And they, behind the scene, have continued to fund us to kill each other, fund us to hate each other, and fund us to destroy the vision of the Honorable Marcus Garvey and turn ourselves into what we are today. I told my mother, there's no way on God's creation I'm going to vote for your party. And she was shocked. Going to vote for the other one? I said, I can't do that either. I said, the only way I can vote in Jamaica is if I create something that I can vote for. And that's why eventually I created the UIC.
Very good. Original?
Yeah, I was waiting on Mr. Patterson to give Siago his flowers. Said he was going to, but he did not. And I heard you said that Mr. Siago presided. 1 minute, close the door and go on. Mr. Siago presided over one of the most corrupt organization or period in Jamaica. What can you enlighten me to that period, please? And what did he do?
I mean, goody, Mr. Patterson. I'm gonna. I don't like to engage myself in an argument.
No, it's not an argument, you know.
No, I don't want Mr. Patterson to bring up that history here.
But if he's going to accuse Mr. Siago of something, we the people don't know of that era.
There was a period in our Jamaican political history that I think it's better left where it is at this point.
No, I disagree, because if he's going to say Mr. Siaga presided over one of the most corrupt era in Jamaica, he needs to tell the people which was the era and what. All right, for example, I can say PJ Pattis is the worst prime minister ever walk in Jamaica because of the myriad of scandals and money that
Your
go
opinion.
missing and mismanagement. Can he tell us, the 125 people here, what Mr. Siaga did so bad for Jamaica that he will classify it as one of the worst, most corrupt era in Jamaica? That's all I'm saying.
Yes. So, Mr. Patterson, no, Jamaican man. What I'm saying, you see, is that if I am not, if I have not, if I have not gathered the facts, I don't want to sit there and listen to something that I don't know. You understand me? I don't want to do it. You see?
Let me help us out here. Let me help us out here. Miss Goody, let's say you have heard my opinion of Mr. Seaga and Mr. Manley and of the two parties. And you are now free to do your research and research on it. How about it?
No,
Alright,
Mr. Patterson, that's not how it goes.
Mr.
You're
Hold on,
not
Goody.
Hold on, man. You're
Yeah,
not allowed to
yeah.
just come and you label the man persons who do not know that he preside over most. You're the first somebody in history that ever hears it. So bring your facts. Because if me I go classify PJ Pattis as the worst prime minister, I have facts and evidence and to support my argument. So I'd like, because first of all, you said you were going to give him your flowers, which you did not.
Well, I don't know about that, but what I will do is your host here will invite me back and I will bring a list of
Mr. Patterson, have you ever voted? Have you ever voted?
Yeah, I'm not come straight.
Sorry, Mr. Patterson?
Have I ever voted, you said?
Yes, sir.
No, I've not voted.
You have never voted for either of the parties?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So you said that you are fielding.
My first attempt, my first opportunity to vote, I had to disappoint my mother and tell her, no, I can't.
Very good. You said you are fielding about 30 candidates, Mr. Patterson. How involved are you going to be in the upcoming electoral campaign? How involved is your party?
It all depends. We're trying our best. We're really trying hard to raise funds and all of that. And as I said to you before, it's really very difficult. So we're not going to be the flashy, flamboyant party like any of the other two. We're not going to have that kind of strength financially to play.
Yes.
So we're not.
But
So we're doing our best.
the partisan, hello neighbor. Let me spread it. The Prime Minister today's Andrew Holness today is now on his third stop today, handing over social houses to persons who need it. Right, that's a program that was conceptualized under him and has been running under him for the past, what would they know, 2025 for the past 7 years. Right? One of the things I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw it where you believe that persons in Jamaica should not be paying tax or mortgage and anything like that. Right? So people shouldn't pay tax and they shouldn't pay mortgage, they shouldn't pay anything. Now, how does a government run without collecting taxes from people?
Right.
That's what.
Yes, you have been misinformed, but I'll correct you. My recent presentation that you're probably referring to, I pointed out why many of us in Jamaica today would not be paying rent or mortgage if when they freed the slave in 1834, they had given them back their lands, or B, if when these two colonial parties took over 80 years ago, they had given us back our lands. We would not have people as squatters. We would not have many Jamaicans slaving to buy lands and all of that because they'd have been given their lands and over the last 80 years would have built up a lot of generational wealth. And so many of us today, if our leaders did the right thing, would not be paying rent or mortgage. On the third item of taxation, perpetual property tax, which is a rent, the UIC will abolish that perpetual tax on Jamaican residents who are living or utilizing their land for productive purposes. So we're going to abolish property tax. So when you own a piece of land in Jamaica, when you own your home, you truly own it. You're not a tenant.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Patterson. Do you own property in Canada?
Yes, I own property around the world.
Do you pay property taxes in Canada?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. Do you have a problem with paying those property taxes in Canada?
Of course I do. Yes.
You do, but you pay them anyway.
Of course, yes. Yeah, I pay them in Jamaica too. It doesn't mean, listen,
You're not lobbying to abolish them in Canada, are you?
Hold on. When a thief come and hold you up and put a gun in your head and say, listen, buddy, give me the money in your pocket, you have to decide.
Question, Mr. Patterson. Answer the question. You're not lobbying in Canada. Answer, Mr. Patterson. Answer the question, Chuck said to you.
I'm answering the question.
For you talking bias, you know.
Here's the question. If you are held up by somebody to thief your money, you have to decide whether you're going to give them the money or possibly lose your life. The same with taxation. When the government hold a gun to your head and say, pay me this tax, even if you do not like the tax or think it's unfair and unreasonable, you have to pay the tax. So
are you now lobbying the Canadian government to get rid of?
No, I have decided to put my energy into Jamaica. So I do not.
You have not. No, you have not. You just speak glowingly of your Canadian passport.
Of course,
it's the perished thing.
Be sensible, man. Come on, be sensible. We're not here. But the fact that I am very happy for the privileges, because my Jamaican government caused me and many others to be economic refugees abroad. And because
Mr. Patterson, let's be very clear.
Make it clear. Who make him be refugees abroad? Who make refugees abroad?
Hold on, Mark. Mr. Patterson, be very clear which government allowed you to be a refugee over abroad.
Listen, my good
lady. Make very clear.
Your goal is to continue to play the divide and conquer principle.
I am not playing no divide and conquer. I'm talking about truth and fact. And first of all, you want to run this country and you do not live here. And that is where my argument is. I did not even know that you did not live in Jamaica. So my argument with you is finished. Makes no sense.
Who tell you I don't live in Jamaica?
It doesn't make any. Your interest is in Canada.
Stop it. You're a prime minister of interest all over the world. You're a prime minister.
Where is his interest? Where does he live? Where does Andrew Honest live, sir?
You're a prime minister.
Where does Andrew Honest live, do business, and raise his family?
Listen, my friend, listen.
I'm asking you a question. Where does Andrew Honest do business and raise family? When people like you and the opposition attacked him about having investment in other countries, what did he do? He brought them back to Jamaica because his interests lie here.
I understand your position. So let's move on. So back to what I'm saying. By the way, I live in Jamaica and I have my property in Jamaica and I have properties overseas and I have business overseas.
Oh, you're just another Mark Golding coming to scrape what you want and then go back to the country that you really love and not Jamaica.
I just tell you as it is. And whether you want, I'm not begging you for what. So I just tell you what it is.
And I'm telling you as it is.
Yeah, so
you have no interest in the Jamaican people. So why are you here talking about Jamaica, and you have no interest in us?
I hear you. For those of us who want to have a deep,
and you're very low. Nobody knows what I say. You're very low.
So, Mr.
Goody, this man, you know, part of what I tell him, himself, we make clear himself, so who make him be refugee, run for be refugee in our next country. One if I say I go do it, our man, they make him talk. For this man, not talk straight, you know.
Okay. Because I have some idea of when Mr. Patterson left Jamaica, but we are going to get to all of that.
Gentlemen.
But as I said, the question that I have to Mr. Patterson is simply this.
You guys are very committed to playing politics. You know,
this is a political discussion. This is a Jamaica discussion. But Mr. Patterson, let me ask you, Mr. Patterson. If you were to make a comparison between Jamaica in the government that led Jamaica in the 90s and the government that is leading Jamaica now, What would you say are the main difference between the two?
I don't look at Jamaica's politics the way you do. I look at the trend. And the
No,
trend that
I'm asking for
right,
your vision
right,
of it, not mine.
right. So I will not, I have not done, I have not looked at it the way you have looked at it. So I will not be able to answer your question that way. What I've looked at is the trend. One thing I know that you don't seem to know yet. I know that regardless of which of the two you elect, the machinery behind the scene, the objective behind the scene remain the same. So it doesn't matter. That is why, for example, over the years, foreign powers have been able to dominate our school system without most Jamaicans knowing it. Dominate the directions that our public.
Mr. Patterson, I've asked you for an assessment.
Dominate the school system. How? How have they dominated the school system?
Assessment.
I just gave you
Just like how I can tell you that I believe that the government that is running Jamaica now has put more investment in the human capital, has given more Jamaica an opportunity not to be financial refugee, as you call it, but to stay and have an opportunity to build their own country than they ever did at the time when you were supposed to be financial refugee.
the lineup at the US Embassy and the lineup at the Canadian Embassy and the case loads that they have at those two countries and the British Embassy.
Sir, we're living in a global world. Thank God for globalization. People are free to move and go. Don't you see Americans from the great United States of America going all over the world? Don't you see Americans right now have to be being deported from Mexico? Don't you see that? So your argument is null and void, sir.
All right. The listeners are complaining that they are not understanding us. We need to stop talking over each other. So ask Mr. Patterson the question and allow him to answer, and then you can ask another question. I want to ask Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson, you're still there with us, sir?
I'm here, man. I'm here. Go right ahead. Yes.
Great. So can you say which of the constituencies are you fielding candidates?
I'm not.
Are you running, Mr. Patterson? Are you running?
I'll be Northeast St. Elizabeth. We have Winston over in Westmoreland.
Hold on. You're going to be Northeast?
Northeast St. Elizabeth, yes.
Northeast.
Yes, Northeast St.
So you're
Elizabeth.
running against Slowly.
Yes. Well, I'm not running against Slowly. I'm running for the people of Northeast St. Elizabeth.
We know he's the Labour Party candidate there.
Right. But I'm not running against Mr. Slowly. I'm running for the people of Northeast to decide if they would like me.
Did you contest the last election?
2020? No, I did not.
You did not.
No.
How are your chances looking over in south and northeast?
I don't know. That's the people on the ground who will decide that.
All right. I'm going to factor that into the forecasting. I must tell you the truth.
But I must also tell you that I am being looked at for Central Kingston. So I've been approached to run in Central Kingston.
You are being looked at by whom?
By my party.
Your party wants you to think that you stand a better chance in Central Kingston.
Not so much as a better chance. What has happened is persons have come forward and made a request, and so that request is being considered.
This is breaking news. So you are going to be moving from not
No, I didn't say I'm going to be moving. I said
your interest.
I am confirmed as the candidate up until now for Northeast St. Elizabeth, but recently a request has been made for me to reconsider and to come to Central Kingston because you may not know this, but that's where I was born. I was born in Central Kingston, and spend a lot of my early years in that constituency and the surrounding communities. And so the request has come, and there's a good case being made.
Is there any truth, Mr. Patterson, that you are an operative? Is there any truth that you are an operative of the People's National Party?
Well, I don't think after all that
I
don't think that after all that I've said so far, that would be a really sensible question, Mr. hello neighbor. That doesn't make any sense.
No. Listen, sir. I'm putting to you the questions as they come to me. Eh?
Yeah, but
I'm not.
I mean, it's not a reasonable question, and I mean, I've made myself very clear. But you do know how politics go in Jamaica. These persons will look for anything. I've heard statements made that I'm this and I'm that, and I want us to move beyond that. I want us to move beyond these. Let's look at policy. Let's look at what we want to do to build Jamaica, and look at history. We have a
Yeah.
lot of history.
Tell me, Mr. Patterson, are there any positives in Jamaica now happening that you want to comment on, that you would want to commend the government on? Is there anything that we see happening that positive?
No, Jamaica, the country Jamaica is a great potential waiting to happen. We're in a very dangerous place because the world of manual labor is declining very fast. AI and that kind of stuff is really taking over. So Jamaica is losing its competitive edge. So there's nothing that I can find to applaud either the present government or the former government on. They've really been wasting our time as a people.
Sir,
Nothing.
me have to really cut
There
it.
is nothing happening in Jamaica today, Mr. Patterson, that you think is positive.
You want in Jamaica or you want based on governance?
In Jamaica, man.
Well,
That you would commend the government.
Jamaica remains a very, very a country with a lot of potential. But let's look at some of the stuff. We have produced, not we, Jamaicans have done a tremendous amount of work. For example, Usain Bolt in putting Jamaica on the map because of his commitment to trade, for example. Shelley and Freeman. We have had some of
Sir, what you're speaking is utter rubbish. Let's call it frank, neighbor. What Shelley and Fraser Price did and what Usain Bolt did is of no economic value to the people of Jamaica compared to what this government is doing. Compared to what this government that you claim you see nothing, you're going to go what Shelley and Fraser because she win a gold medal in 2008? How does that buy buses for the Jamaican people? How does that put pay public sector workers? How does that build a first in the Caribbean a children and adolescent hospital? How does that buy 400 police vehicles, fix roads, build a new legal highway, free of cost, taxpayer money, no loan? How does Shelley and Fraser Price and you say about running benefit the Jamaican people? Sir, you are being disingenuous and you should stop. To somebody who said they want to be the change of Jamaica, you are being very mischievous.
Mr.
And you should stop it.
You don't think, sir, that as a leader that is eliciting followers, that there has to be something positive about the country, sir, that you can speak to, and you don't have to be political. Is there not positives?
I was answering you about some positive things in the country, and I wanted to clarify with you whether you're talking about the political management of the country or otherwise.
We are speaking about the political management of the country because I think if we are going to progress, Mr. Patterson, I think if we are going to progress as a nation, we are going to have to agree on some things. It's just
Let's agree on this. Well, I hope we can agree on this. Jamaica continues to suffer from bad governance. If you look at what is happening, the voter trend continues to be more and more Jamaica are opting out of the voting process. That's a trend. Our education, more and more of our children are failing. We're building a nation of more duns than otherwise. Our healthcare system continues to be tremendously lacking. The quality of employment is deplorable. So while you're telling us that the number of unemployed are low, the quality of employment is even lower.
Yes, but Mr. Patterson, I tell you this, sister, as a small developing state, let us be honest. We remain a country emerging And I don't think that it is fair for you to come here and give the impression that we are
Mute Mark Nation, mute, mute him, neighbor.
that we are making no progress. That's not true, and it is not fair.
I didn't say we're making no progress. I am pointing out to you what I am seeing. Now, I'm sure you're seeing
You
something.
know, one of the things, sorry, Mr. Pat, you know, one of the things that I notice in Jamaica is that probably Mr. Siaga was right when he speaks of the two Jamaicas, you know, because, and you spoke of the oligarchy, you call it? That's what you call it, sir?
Yes, the oligarchs, yes.
Yeah, there are some Jamaicans, sir, that are being many Jamaicans are being pulled up by their bootstraps as we speak, and there are others. It doesn't matter which government is in power; they are all right. I don't think you can say to 130,000 Jamaicans who have gotten employment over the last 9 years that nothing now go on for them. I don't think you can say that to the people who jump on a bus from Linstead and travel to Spanish Town for $100, and those who travel from Old Harbour to Spanish Town for $100. I don't think you can say that to them. And I do not agree with you, Mr. Patterson, that we have not made strides as far as our educational program is concerned. Can I tell you this, sir? 2 years ago, had a challenge with my appendix and was checked into the Spanish Town Hospital. And you know, I could have gone elsewhere, but I checked into the Spanish Town Hospital. And I must tell you, Mr. Patterson, I was very impressed with the service, with the quality of the service. And you know what was important? Though I could afford it at the time, they never charged me a single dollar. I cannot sit here as a Jamaican and tell you that our health system is not making progress because I have experienced myself, Mr. Patterson. And when you compare, I did some research on that, looking at, you know, the Caribbean and Latin America and how countries are faring. Mr. Patterson, we have to acknowledge that we have made significant progress. We're not where we ought to be, but we have made no progress, sir.
Well, as I said before, right, I understand your vantage point.
Hold on, hello, neighbor. At HR Guru night, at HR Guru 876 in the box.
And I want to shout out those fantastic nurses and doctors at Spanish Town Hospital who I seriously felt as if I was in a first world healthcare.
And I'm so happy.
Yes, I did a little time.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
I can't stay long near, but I was passing and I heard your point, and that's the challenge I have with Mr. Patterson. When you speak to him, you get the sense that he is the panacea. He and his party is the panacea that Jamaica wants or what Jamaica needs. It's as if Jamaica, since independence, we have not moved at all in our development, and that is not.
But I don't think that's
not correct. That can't be correct. That can't be correct, and that is why I find it so nauseating to listen to Mr. Patterson, because you get the impression that Jamaica has not advanced, we have not prospered, we have not done well in anything since we gained independence in 1962.
Nobody can.
And I cannot subject myself to that kind of nauseating rhetoric.
It seems like that way, Mr. Patterson, as HR Guru said, it seems like that way. As a HR Guru, I'm talking the same way.
No.
The same way I talk it. People is not dunce.
I know how you feel.
People sometimes talk some things that are the same way Guru said, the same way you mean it, brother.
Understand.
You cannot bring on the country like that, brother.
I understand how you feel.
You say around get slowly, but you will never win a seat in a Jamaica. Better not have that in mind. Me I tell you, go on where you come from.
No problem. No problem. Mr. Neighbor, you want me to continue or this is it?
No, we're gonna wrap up with you now, Mr. Patterson. But I'm saying to you, and we're gonna talk again, that Jamaica is not where it ought to be, sir. And
I hear you. I'll give a closing thought.
When you compare Jamaica, when you hear a lot of people talk about inflation and I looked at the figures, across the Caribbean, across Latin America. Listen to me, Mr. Patterson. We have to give credit where credit. We are an emerging nation, 63 or 62 years old. We have a far way to go. Many of our leaders have set us back, You see that set here that is presently at the wheel? I must tell you the truth. I believe that they are well intentioned. I believe that they are trying. I believe that they have made strides, and it's for the Jamaican people to decide.
I know how you feel. I fully understand. I know how you feel. And I know you believe in the present administration, just as those before you believed in the other administration. And many are believing that when they elect.
I believe in Jamaica, sir.
Hold on.
I believe in Jamaica.
There are many like you who believe.
I believe in Jamaica, and I tell you the truth, Mr. Patterson. I grew up in a Jamaica. I grew up in a Jamaica where there was very little hope. I must tell you the truth. Very little hope. I remember as a young man, not leaving high school, there wasn't any prospect of getting a job. It was so hopeless. And that is why I think we had such. Yeah?
Year was that?
Which year?
Yeah, when you left high school.
Yeah, I left high school in the 90s. There was no hope.
I left in 1990. I graduated from Stats in 1990.
Yes, sir. If you never made, sir, students now with subjects are able to get into tertiary institutions without guarantors. I'm from a poor family. There was no likelihood.
What is happening? Hear what is happening. Your baseline, the baseline that you're using for measuring your progress is one that is how do I say this now? I can appreciate your baseline. My baseline is very different. So my baseline for measuring Jamaica's progress, I found Singapore as a good baseline just because both countries got independence roughly the same time, and both countries were British colonies, and Singapore was more disadvantaged than us in 1963 when they got independence. They had more racial disharmony, religious disharmony, ethnic disharmony, and they had 100 times less resources than we. And their leadership was able to bring them from a third world country to a first world country in one generation, 25 years.
Hello, neighbor. Put Master Gene at the box there. Put Master Gene at the box there. Hello, neighbor. Please. No, this is so. Sorry, Mr. Patterson.
Mark Nation, you're back police. We're not tapping hands.
Yeah, my box police good.
I'm going to leave you guys now, but the point I'm making is my baseline is different. Now, you guys might be very happy with the degree of progress that you have seen. I'm very dishappy. I'm very unhappy with the degree of progress that I have seen because of my baseline. When I went to Singapore,
let's go on with it, man. Let's go on with it and make it full of belly, man. We don't want to Jamaica, man. Go on, you're one of them bring them. You come like my con man, tell me say 4 5 today I sent this. Go on, boy, your blood clot.
Mark, tappy.
No, Mark. No.
Mark, I understand your pain. I feel your pain. And there are many who feel like you.
I'm saying I'm a mama.
Mark, you're not here for stop. You're not here for stop.
Well, here's the good thing. None of you guys have to vote for me, right? That's not a problem. So, and you can tell every Jamaican that you know that, listen, man, we don't want the man, Mr. Patterson, to do nothing. And so with the UIC.
Go on around to Canada, man.
Mr. Patterson?
Choice you can make. You make that.
We talk again. You hear, sir?
Yeah, man. All the best. Take care. Thank you for having me.
And I'd like to speak.
He's a communist, Mr. Patterson. He's a communist, yo. You're a communist.
All the best, my friend. Take care.
Good.
Yeah, one love my brother. We love you still, but he's a communist.
Mark.
Take care.
Mr. Hello, neighbor. I have a respect for you now, Mr. Patterson, but them not talk by us. Them are talk by us towards the government.
How you doing, Mark?
Mr. Patterson.
Listen.
Him not talk. Mr. Patterson, I don't have a good education, Mr. Neighbor, but I can read well, But sometimes they talk some them big word. They might try manipulate the thing.
Tell me, Mark. Don't use any profanity over here.
Yeah, sorry, my boss, man.
You say you don't have a good education, but why are you supporting the Labour Party? What What is it?
Listen, listen. Me read and me do research. From me a youth a grow. And me compare the two party them. Although me born live, me could have choose PMP, right? But me choose Labour Party is the best governance. When me see, we read. From when I youth to a school. That's why I chose the Jamaica Labour Party, brother.
Like
Yeah,
what?
do you tell him say?
They do.
Good.
What is it they do? For the
All them
country?
can manage the country.
Yes.
No, them can manage the country. Manage the country of fear. Do every little thing make the country better. Can manage every little thing, every nooks and cranny. You understand me? Let me see them do great things. We read from 1944, come back up. You understand me? Read.
Yes.
You understand me? Read. That's why I'm saying choose. And let JLP have more policies. Implement more things.
Yes.
You understand me? That's why I choose. That's why nobody can tell me about JLP, man. And a 44,000 job in the 90s. You see the 90s when you say LS school and say school, a 44 job collapse in a Jamaica and I need PJ Patterson's watch. Did you know say DNG is a peer police officer when the country run broke? DNG is a peer police officer. Did you know them thing them hello neighbors?
No, I don't.
All right. Ask you people like compulsory education. What them say?
No, we don't work for that education.
Compulsory education.
We want to find out from you. What
That's all the
about the party
listen.
you decide.
This
This one is the better one.
you hear me tell already? Me do
Yes.
I'm research, I'm doing my comparison. I'm see which one is the better party. I'm say this is one is the better party. You understand me? That's why I choose to read from myself, read from way back. All right. Tell us something. Let me say,
How is the election looking from where you are, sir? How is it looking up for you?
You know, say, and I Vision 2030 where I go now. The Andrew JLP, one Andrew Honest.
Huh?
Trust me. A third term where I go, man. See somebody say Jamaica man on a PJ, we need to lose the and where you say?
You think your party is going to get a third term?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely, hello neighbor.
Yes.
You understand me?
Tell us some of the things that
All right, look.
on the ground.
Look. No, on the ground looking good, you know. The Prime Minister will do him have to do. And we're ready. We're ready with us launch out for the machine, the campaign machine, the political machine. Soon ready. The JLP machine soon ready for ILO.
I understand.
I'm soon hit the road too.
I understand that Belmont Road is about to roll out an impressive political campaign. Eh?
Exactly. We're not ready yet.
Yes, that it is going to be something else in Jamaica here. Eh? Goodness gracious.
Yeah. This is loading.
It is
All
loading.
right. Mr. Neighbor.
Yes.
Mr. Neighbor, listen to you. You see, Marcus Garvey was industry belt. You know much busy like down in the 90s.
Neighbor, you need a moderator and a person who won't get bad.
Yeah, but you know,
You understand me?
sometimes we can't get to hear each other. So we're talking to
Yeah. You can add up to 44,000 job loss and I need PJ Patterson and the PMP. It cripple economy. This is scratchy there. Some more people are coming in the box. Ask them. Andrew is a good leader. I'm sure you say make investment, good investment on them dollar. You never know so we could invest in our own highway and them something there.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a good prime minister.
Yes.
I'm a vision for the youth them and talk claim now. Go around you. He's a man full of confidence. He's a man for the youth to the people them.
Great.
Big up yourself, man.
Big up yourself. You hear, sir? Big up yourself, Mark. Scratchy,
Yes, neighbor, what's up?
were you listening to Mr. Patterson?
You know, it's a little small part of it. I don't catch a fullness. I remember say.
Yes.
What was he saying?
Well, he was, you know, he's the president of the UIC, and he could not identify any positives that were happening in Jamaica at this time. Scratchy, tell us about some of the things that you think are happening in Jamaica that are positives that are likely to bring people to the ballot box to vote for your party.
I mean, never anyone with two functioning eyes and a functioning brain can more than see the things that are going on right now in this country. And when I say things, we're gonna be specific now and list a set of things. If you look at the education sector, as much as how a lot of persons might still complain and say the education is still not the level is it's still not where it is, and there are certain things that are still missing. But we have to just bear in mind in the context that we're a developing nation, and there are certain things that we still don't have as yet. We're a developing nation. There are certain things that we still cannot do at once. But education, schools have been given more funding.
How was the party done with crime and security?
Well, we have seen the largest investment in crime and security. It's not going to be a short-term fix. It's more a long-term fix, and we are starting to see some of the benefits of that already. So going forward, we should continue to see the reduction in major crimes.
Yes,
definitely, because we have seen the largest investment that any government has ever invested in crime. So going forward, we should see a more downfall in major crimes. Continue to see a downfall. There's already a downfall.
You think there is a link? You think that there's a link between the economy and crime? That if the economy develops and grows, it has a positive impact on crime.
Yeah, crime, not just the economy alone. There's a lot of different things in this country that breeds crime. It has a lot to do with also our culture.
Yes.
We have a culture where we celebrate crime whether we want to believe it or not. We live in a country where we glorify crime to an extent until it reaches our doorstep.
Wow.
It's not just the economy growing. It all has to do with our mindset. We have to change our mindset and put our minds in a different place. Where our mind is sometimes we celebrate crime. And when I say glorify crime, I mean we glorify it in a way when it's for us, but when it's against us, now we start to cry. We need to take a stance fully and decide that, hey, if we're going to stop crime, crime is going to stop. To me personally, I feel the government has done enough, and it's now up to us as citizens to play our part in ensuring that crime is that a cap is put on crime.
Yes.
And yes, the economy also has a role, but it's not just one factor that creates crime. I'm not going to say it's just poverty that creates crime, because we have seen situations where persons now who are involved in crime, their standard of living have improved, and I don't know if it is a situation where they push crime more. So we have to just understand and know that crime, we just have to try to find the best way to deal with it. It's not just one factor, and that's what we have to understand.
So let's go over to St. Ann. Those of you who have been waiting on it. Okay, so there are four constituencies over in St. Ann.
Yeah.
You have Northwestern St. Ann, where Crystal Lee is the Member of Parliament.
Yes.
You have Southwestern St. Ann, where Xavier Main is Parliament. You have Northeastern St. Ann, where Matthew Samuda is the Member of Parliament.
Yes, the strongest St. Ann seat for the Labour Party.
Yes, and you have Southeastern St. Ann, where Lisa Hanna is the Member of Parliament. Interestingly, Southeast St. Ann was the closest of the four seats. However, it is the seat, and it is held by the PNP. Now, in terms of the results, Crystal Lee won Northwestern St. Ann, beating Dayton Campbell. she got 7,821 votes. Dayton Campbell got 5,000. Sorry, 5,000.
She beat him by about 2,000 vote. She beat him by 2,000 vote.
Right. So factor that in that the Labour Party has about a 2,000 a little bit vote majority in that, but you have to take out the wholeness factor, which was let me show you something. Let me show. Can I show you? Let me not.
Put it up on the screen.
I wanted to put it up on the screen, but I need some technical assistance, sir. I'm not as good. But let me go ahead. All right. So that's Crystal Lee. Now, when you that's the constituency you're from, Mark? Nope, not here in Mark. Okay, so when you go now over to Southwestern, you have Xavier Main, and you have he ran against Wint, and Xavier won with 7,694 votes against Wint of the PNP, 4,021. That's a 3,000 and odd vote majority that Maine has in Southwestern. And then you have Northeastern, where Marsha Simit was the one who contested that election. Of course, she has since resigned, and Matthew Samuda is now the member of parliament.
Would you agree that that one is the strongest Labour Party seat in the constituency in the parish?
Marsha by close to over 4,000 votes.
But neighbor, would you agree that that one is the safest seat in the constituency in the parish
By the numbers.
for Labour Party?
By the numbers, yes. By the numbers. So let's tick off Northeast. There is no way that you're going to reverse a 5,000 vote margin, especially because the candidate there now is a star, or one of the future stars in the Labour Party. Northeastern St. Anne, based on the forecasters, should remain with the Jamaica Labour Party.
That was Shine constituency, right?
That's Shahini's, yes.
Yes. That's the strongest Labour Party constituency in St. Anne.
And Southeastern, when you look at that, I think it's the old Foggy Mullins, Foggy Mullins seat. That one is going to, the PNP is going to increase a lot in Southeastern. It's fascinating, but that is true. I think that whatever was happening in St. Anne Southeastern,
Maybe I disagree.
You disagree? Tell us why.
Yeah. The people of Southeast St. Anne instead of the PNP. And the only reason why Lisa Anna managed to hold on that seat is because the shift in candidate for the JLP at the last minute.
Yes, you're very right.
That was the only, the people them tired of Lisa Anna of thing for that seat. That seat has been neglected, and the people them hold on, Mark.
Good and scratchy.
The people them hold on, Mark. And the people them need a change. So don't be surprised. I'm not saying that they are going to lose that seat, but I'm saying don't be surprised. If they even win, I'm not seeing it with over not even 200 votes. That is going to be very close because the people them tired.
But where is it?
The PNP in that constituency.
Where is the evidence based on the parish?
It showed in the last election. No, parish council election. Well, this is my analysis. Parish council and general elections are two different elections. Majority of the people who normally vote in general elections do not vote in parish council election. Majority of them do not.
They don't vote.
Majority of them don't. I will take caution out time back. Don't make it stay, man. Make it lion stay. Cause I look attention.
They won all the divisions in the parish council election. Every single one. Moneague, Claremont, Beechertown, and Benson. And the margins were significant. So I do not see, with all respect, a reversal there. I do not see it. All right, and
well, on election night we will talk about it.
Yes.
Who's the JLP candidate?
I am not sure. Who is it?
Slap around. Damon slap. Damon slap around. The big fat brother there. Damon slap. Around, you see it. Damon slap.
All right, so that's 1-1. That's 1-1 in St. Anne so far. 1-1 in St. Anne. Let's now go.
Hello, neighbor. A 3-1 man. A 3-1 man. Let's add this a 3. Not 3 division in a center.
We just covered 2.
A 3.
We just covered 2.
No, man. A 3 them are remain in a little particle. I'm tell you that. Trust me.
Okay, so the southwestern one is
Crystal
Advantage JLP. The southwestern Advantage JLP, and the northwestern is a dead heat.
Who's that northwestern?
Lee.
Crystal Lee.
That's 2-1.
You know, say neighbor.
Neighbor. Gabelman scam meter. Gabelman scam meter. What for Russia? You're wrong, man.
Me have
Hello, neighbor. You have good. You hear him good.
Well, I tell you, calm down. Me I got up things. Calm down, man. Hello, neighbor. You see, if PNP had a chance or thought they had a chance in that constituency.
All right.
What's your name? What's your name? Dayton Campbell. Would not be gone at Westmoreland and look at safe seat. PNP have no chance in that constituency. Just for family.
They lost by.
That's it for now.
Yes.
Crystal doing good work down there, man.
Yes.
Gabelman scam meter, man. Fast battle scam meter.
They made a mark in that constituency, you know? She make herself be known in that constituency.
Northwestern.
Mark, what you done early on?
Yeah, me I say. Remember say, you know, Otney Lawrence win his seat, you know, and Gateway, you know, and they come win it back, you know. Me say, Otney Lawrence win his seat. I don't know Otney Lawrence come from, you know.
Yeah, I don't
know. Neighbor, I do this sad. And in Gateway, and Dayton Campbell come now, and try something. He can beat him in Dayton Campbell. If him no say me now win, if him no say him confidence me win back, he won't go Westmoreland. He that stay. 2,000 vote and an easy vote in a scratchy.
Yeah. Whole heap of vote that, man.
And an easy vote. Whole heap. And people do numeration and them something, their brother.
Yeah, she make herself seen and be known in a constituency, the man. She alright.
Yeah, all of Dayton place, Bamboo and them place too.
She alright. Plus she have her neighbor Xavier right there, so I give her strength.
Like Harbour Brownstones.
Alright, listen now. Remember, you know, she used to go to school long the day, you know. She used to go to St. Hilda's, you know. She don't just go to school, you know.
Yeah.
She be knowing. And Bamboo, I say Bamboo Dayton come from, you know. Remember that. You see, I know the geographic of the thing, brother. That's why I'm telling you, read them things, brother. Nobody can
say you know the
question. Question to neighbor.
Yeah.
Neighbor, you said in Southeast Center that the PNP is going to increase their margin And one of the factors they give is that they retain all 4 councillors. Crystal leave have all 4 councillors. So I
Correct.
don't understand the logic.
No. But the point I'm making is that the PNP's strength across all the constituencies in 2025 is greater than it was in 2020. Will you accept that?
No,
Repeat? No.
no.
PNP's strength,
Wala na man, me talk na back 3-4, we're not up in eyes. So,
PNP's strength across all
strength. What is PNP strength in Western St. Anne?
the amount of people that we vote for.
Nobody watch people.
But
So then wala na mark. And that
Yeah.
yesterday had their strength, and their strength could not allow them to get 1 councillor
where?
in Crystal East constituency.
Yeah, listen, in Bamboo, 13481172. Church Town, 13591333. Basically, again, in Dry Harbor, it's 1818 in 1663. Brownstone, it's a dead.
But neighbor,
Like a Kimbo Lawrence place.
we're not tapping eyes, Mark.
1030.
Alright.
Alright. So neighbor, if they bring out their strength, because we're talking numbers now, and so the people them who are getting their feelings, just listen. They bring out their strength, and that would be their base. Well, enough, neighbor. That would be their base, you know. I remember
The
would have it that
increase their voter support across the island.
But listen to what I'm saying to you, neighbor. PNP brought out their base. Do you know what it is for a party to bring out them base in an election and could not win?
You mean which one? In the 2020?
No, the recently concluded election. They brought what PNP did was brought out their numbers. Basically, like, remember Mark Gordon was campaigning around Jamaica, telling the people then that he would become the next prime minister, and he could still not win with one of the lowest voter turnout ever, and him still could win.
Do you accept? Do you accept? Would the result of the 2020 were because of divisions within the PNP, a relatively weak leader, and magic that always happened. You agree?
No.
So why did you win 49 seats?
Because the people of Jamaica send a resounding congratulations to the Andrew Honest-led administration that this is the government that we want to lead, and we don't want PNP.
And
It
you
has
think
nothing to do.
you are thinking they are going to do the same this year?
We are going to do that with a resound sound. We are going to do that again. And I can tell you to look for me on election night, because for one thing, we lose our draw, I will not be hiding. And we will be here.
Well, personally, for me, neighbor.
Who won in St. Anne with 1 2 close to come? That's what how we have.
Yeah, for me, neighbor, I think.
Well, me have it 3-1. I'm gonna give up that.
What you say? You see?
No, I said for me personally, the 2020 election, me doing my numbers, I personally don't go by the 2020 numbers.
Why?
I kind of see the 2020 as a form of default. One is that we are the lowest voter turnout for the 2020 election, for a general election.
We had COVID.
Yes, and we had lowest voter turnout. We had less than 40%. So I don't want to
But
get.
question though, when have we ever when was the last time we have over 40% voter turnout in Jamaica?
The last general election we had over 40% for 2020.
In 2016 we had over 40% voter turnout.
Yeah.
Neighbor, check that, because I doubt that. I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
2020 was the lowest.
I'm not saying it's not the lowest, but I'm saying when was the last time we had over 40% voter turnout in Jamaica? That's what I'm asking. When was the last time?
2016 election was more than it. And if you look at the environment now and look at the energy that is out there now, we're expecting to see a even more greater one coming this election.
Mike, mute your mic. You're something, Mark.
Yeah, in terms of voter turnout, because persons are fired up and ready for this one. Both parties see and know what is on the line for this one, and we're not under a pandemic or anything. So we have to be mindful of those 2020 numbers when we use those numbers.
But in terms of
Those numbers can put us in the wrong place.
forecast,
I think that is what happened to us. That is what reached us in the local government election.
it has to be factored into the job, right? Because those voters haven't gone anywhere. It should be still there.
Me still there. Me and my friend them still there, gearing up and ready. And I have friends who did not vote in the local government election because really and truly, to them local government election is whatever. But
Yes.
I mean, yes, good, but we have to be real good and know that it's not
general,
just
them
neighbor
not
right.
make no
Both
sense,
parties,
you know.
both parties didn't really turn out.
Well, me no know about PNP. Me I talk about well thinking. Me talk about me talk about my generation who shifted the election in 2016 and put Andrew Olis where he is. Me can say my generation do that. The set of generation that we live the best of both worlds. So we live on the brink of PJ Patterson. I will live with a JLP, a resounding government of basically when we were starting high school, Bruce Golding. So we understand what is good governance. And we realize that the PNP is no good and we don't want them. We are still here, as neighbor said, and we're not gone nowhere. We're still there here. And we are more vocal. We are more vocal and steadfast than the past generation when it comes to politics.
Yes.
Check the Jamaica Labour Party persons who are the forerunners for their campaign and who is campaigning for the Jamaica Labour Party compared to the persons who are pushing the mandate of the PNP. The persons who are pushing the mandate of the PNP, they are average 55 years old.
Yes.
They are a dying generation.
Yes, I've been cautioning, and I have looked at the numbers, telling you guys that this election, 2025, is not going to be a runoff.
Exactly.
Listen,
Exactly.
we never said it's going to be a runover because of what
blind
win is
blind
vote.
could see in 2020 that the Labour Party.
No. Nobody saw that. Neighbor, let's be honest. In 2020, you saw the Jamaica Labour Party sweep in Westmoreland. You saw that in 2020?
Never saw Westmoreland.
Okay. You saw Jamaica Labour Party sweeping Hanover. You saw Peter Bunting losing his seat. No matter how good Andrew Holness was, nobody
could
predict in the future.
The party was 50 points ahead.
But neighbor, let's be honest. The party could have been 100 points ahead, 50 points ahead. Nobody
The party was
saw Peter Bunting. So,
in 2020. When you extrapolate those numbers at a 15% swing,
Yes,
you saw Peter Bunting losing his seat, neighbor?
Yes, Peter Bunting was predicted to lose.
Yes, I saw.
Peter Bunting was predicted to lose.
Make can't find 10 people to that. Never see that.
Peter Bunting was predicted to lose. I have Peter Bunting losing in my column. When we were doing our numbers, we had Peter Bunting to lose.
Within 55 seats.
We were
kudos to.
I was personally on the ground in in that constituency, Peter Bunting working, and we had predicted the last for him in that election.
Yeah.
We saw the numbers that he was going to lose.
Not even the PNP saw that, so not even Edward Siaga saw the result.
Well, we were on the ground because the strength the road I was getting and the feedback that we were getting, we know that showed that won that constituency.
Yes. When the poll.
So, neighbor, you saw Central Kingston coming to the Jamaica Labour Party in 2020?
Huh?
You saw Central Kingston coming to the Jamaica Labour Party in
No,
2020?
no.
Oh.
Understand what I'm saying. If you look at all the polls, the blue dot polls, Bill Johnson, and they all had the party over
Me,
10 points ahead.
me no go with polls because I never see a poster yet from the day me born. I don't know nobody will ever see a poster, so I no go with polls.
Okay. All right.
Polls are not factual, you know, but it's just like a guiding point.
Yes. Nationwide had them 12 points up in 2020. 12 points ahead. To 12 points. I think Don and Bill Johnson had them up.
All right, neighbor, you know that in the election, the General Secretary did an interview where the General Secretary said that he saw 50 seats.
That's Dr. Chan?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 2020 election,
Uh-huh.
he predicted 50 seats.
Bill Johnson had them up over 15%. Right?
He predicted 50 seats for the election, the General Secretary.
That's Bill Johnson's prediction. And remember they lost St. Anne by a mere 30-something votes. So the predictions were accurate at that time. The fact of the matter though is that as I said to you, the party is facing a re-emergence.
Yes, this one is not gonna be like 2020.
Opposition, not the one that you faced in 2020, and it is important to understand.
Yes.
And I think if you speak,
and that is the first thing that we have to do, and we have to understand that is the opposition has changed.
And original goodie, I can tell you this: that last year, before the local government elections, when the party went into the field, the reports coming back to Belmont Road is that the party was in trouble. I know that as a fact, that the party was in trouble.
I know that too. I know that as a fact too.
On the ground. And
yeah, I know.
Scotchy.
Yo, boss.
Them say, you know, well, I know. Me here and here talk some things, you know. But we have strategies in our party. Sometimes, you know, and we see a lead of time, you know. We have seen a strategy in the party, you know.
You have to just test the water.
Test the water. So you see the local government election was a wake-up call for Andrew Pies over time.
Very much so. Very much so.
But let me say to you, know, brother. Listen to your neighbor.
Had he not said he lost his voice, had he not campaigned like the party would have been.
Yeah, I will blame some of we blame some of the way them there. They might the MP them and the cons and the KT candidate. And some of the work of them too. Blame them too. But this time now, it's a man when I talk, you know. It's like how man go in a talk. A mind game, Andrew. You know what to say, Andrew now I take up some paper remind me. If I read 1,000 sentences and can remind.
Now show you something,
so I see this.
Look on a division like Gale in a St. Mary. The Prime Minister there in a Gale from about 3 o'clock in the evening till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we lose Gale.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bobby see that. Yeah, we know Bobby play start. We only
the Prime
Minister
Minister there in a Gale from in the morning till 3 and the next morning till the morning.
I'm money them spend, man.
No, hold on. Gail have nothing to do with money. Let me tell you about what I Gail.
Yeah.
See, and that is what I think that Andrew, maybe a lot of cause that them can write for Andrew name. Jason come from the community. Jason basically turning back on him people them. So it was not a vote against the Prime Minister, no matter where Andrew did go down there. If anyone see against go down there, because of the bad taste, so JC basically was not doing anything. Let's call it the fact. Jason no need politics. Jason no need to serve nobody. Jason just there because him family in politics. Jason done it already. Jason does not do that as a favor. And with the young guy who actually come from the community again, the teacher, me have over 5 family who come from foreign to vote for him because they know say him grew up in the community and then him from a baby. So it's basically like same like how Auntie Dana, who is a staunch neighbor, right, vote for the girl of a favor. It was just that. It was we know you're from your baby, whatever. Just now move hype on the people them where him walk with and talk with, and that was it.
So will that affect us then?
Jason is not the council. Jason not go back.
No, but you said the man
And it
who
would,
clear people come from foreign come vote for him. So we not can't treat him back same way.
no, as I said, no, them are PNP. Them are gonna come vote regardless. But I'm saying, and I tell my liberty and then come down, come vote for him. Them are PNP, so them are gonna come down, come vote for him regardless. And I'm here say them are gonna put him up run in a Dr. Guy seat as the MP, which him can't win, as he can't beat Moran. So
All right, goody. Here is
that is it.
Here is how.
Mirage, I take it this time, you know.
Here's
So
how.
Mirage, I can take you Mirage up a good pan the gun, goody.
Yes.
Yeah, one Dino,
You
yes,
know,
I'm
you
going
know,
to lose him
after
seat this
that-
time. I'm consider Dino.
Hello, Dina is a old dinosaur. Dina himself run independent and run against PNP. So Dina don't know why I'm talking about. Don't make Dina come from platform. Dina have 5 columns against his own party. So I don't know what Dina talk about.
Let's go out west, although we are not through that yet. My team here has completed the numbers. But in St. James East Central, that's where Edmund Bartlett is.
Safe. We're all right, listen.
Yeah.
We have
Janice Allen can't beat him this, sir. Janice Allen can't beat him this, sir.
Yeah, man, we're all
We
right.
know how we run. Them 3 girls can't take them St. James seat there. None of them
All
3
right.
no mongrel there. The Peter Bunting, Kaya Matras and the next one then. None of them can't beat Oma Davis.
Why my platform?
Just one St. James seat now look good for right now.
And a Malawo, Andrea Hatton can't beat her.
And a Mali.
Hold on.
No, man, she
Oh.
win that home, man.
We did Andre and
Like sure,
Yeah.
sometimes I have to really wonder if one not that. But I mean I know still, but you know what? Me just tell them say we meet to them for election night. Cause they meet to the for election night. Cause Andre
Goody,
and turn out
goody.
a full blown weed. They did not have no substance. They think career done.
Yeah, we did. We good it. For me see them make a post, you know, and me dep on them live, I mean sometimes I interact with them, you know. So them I say they want the tree, say they want Oma, they want area, they must want, me tell you what they want. They want what name there. Oma, Orius Strong and Ed Bartlett. Me saw them all get them 3 seats there.
Listen, guys.
You can't get them now.
Yeah.
East
Mark
Central.
Olin was in Montego Bay the other day. You see no evidence of Mark Olin. You see no video out there with Mark Olin in Montego Bay. Anybody on this platform see one video with Mark Olin when him in a Montego Bay?
Yeah, I see my talking at Charles Spring with Andrea.
No. Yeah, and who post that video? You see no supporters are posting, you see no crowd back at him. That even the glider not carry because they're not carrying a traction down there. There's no truck, them not carrying traction. So them coming and the
she girl them say
one bag of knives. Then alright, there's a
Yeah.
post and Gleaner where Gleaner post them say, oh, the 3 women PNP is putting up in St. James. And when I go through the comments, not one positive comment, not one.
If I want to say them come from Gully, the one that Janice says she come from Gully, and them thing, say she come from Gully, and this and that, Janice Allen and Peter Bunting, Kaya Matras, where she a go? She can meet Oma Davis. Hey,
Davis had the work.
she a make problem, you know?
Yeah.
But the scratchy, you have to, when you come from there, you have to, you see, it's the current affair,
Yeah,
and thing, you have to know the demographic and politics,
Yeah,
and you can know.
working at the place.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Dirty car, black car shot for
when you hear Mark, you sent a year where I said,
Yeah.
there's a problem. When I meet like Serena, when I have like that mother who now, I talk say, I don't she
Yeah.
might lose the seat in about. It look like you have labor right with the two, where are girls right now. Because you see, man,
man. Why have? Yeah.
you see the officer she was the officer took up whole heap of time, you know. So in them places, you have to have good points so you can stand up for you, you know.
Come on.
Yes, so West Central is where she is. There are some challenges there.
Normally, right, neighbor?
West Central, yes. West Central, and Southern.
That's a Woman Davis place, Southern St. James.
So you see East Central, that's cool.
Yeah.
Central is okay.
Well, that's a Eli Clark.
Eroy is yes, but West Central and Southern, those two,
That's a Woman Davis.
I wouldn't be prepared to rule out so Town, Bartlett and Eroy. So there are five. It's 5 low in St. James. I mean, I'm having a little difficulty
What do you
here.
mean by 5 love or 4 love?
4 low.
Brother, you know Jabali, you know, man.
All right, so that's Southern.
So,
Southern is where Homer Davis. How things looking over there, Flatty?
Alright. Over Davis now. That's the constituency that neither party has been able to have a grab on. So both
Yes.
parties is a little flip-flop seat that. No party has been able to really grab that seat the real way. We have seen this election, we have seen this round
I
now
think
where
that they have made inroads in that, and that is one that is targeted.
we have seen now where Homer Davis has come in, where he's putting in some work. Let's see the work that he's putting in, let's see if it pay off and persons come out and support him. But that's one that I wouldn't call either as it, to tell you the
I
truth.
can't, yeah.
Because of the history of that constituency as well.
Yes. And West Central, I understand that a lot of there are some unease in West Central. What's happening in West Central?
Where is that? In Montego there? In St. James?
Marlene's seat.
With Marlene seat, yeah, we don't understand. We hear some little growls. We're not sure what is going on fully down there. But neighbor, if we should do it, you know that.
You hear it from the Jamaica Labour Party, Scotchy? I hear it from PNP.
What that?
The growls they
Internal
have.
vote.
You hear it from. You hear it from.
No, when we say
Jamaica,
growls, you know,
hear
I
it
mean
from-
like no bad energy and a bad vibes. You know?
No, I mean no, but what you hear it from the Jamaica Labour Party. Did Oris Strong come out and said,
Or strong like come up to tell me what I want.
Oh, you hear it from good, reliable Jamaica Labour
Yeah,
Party.
strong like to tell you what.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
it's under control and not cause no bad
The
energy and a bad
only
vibes.
people me hear are spread propaganda at PNP, so.
Nah, cause
You
no
don't
bad
even
energy.
Mobia,
No,
so
she not out of the seat or nothing.
Mobia people must know what them are.
See, the ministry of Marlene Mother who fought is a ministry where she's very, very busy. You have to have strong counsel that can back you up. So persons are saying that they are not seen or visible most of the time on the ground. But that don't mean that she not get the job done. She have a very, very ministry. The ministry she have is a very serious ministry, you know. But she busy body, you know. In that ministry there, you know.
Yes. Guys, I must tell you the truth that those two are a toss-up at this point. It's a toss-up. Don't go wrong.
What can I do to what can I toss up? What can I toss up? What you talk about? Numbers are tell lie, you know. Me
How
work
many
off of
councils
numbers,
have
so
right now,
none of us
neighbor?
can lead you.
How many councils have, neighbor?
I can tell you that in a while. Let me get over here.
Shav Debo. Go ahead.
Hold on. Go ahead, Scratchy. Let me just pull it up. That's St. James West Central. St. James West Central.
Oh, gosh, I'm full of corruption, this man.
Hello neighbor, put protecting Jane at the back, say. Put
I
Jane at the back.
only have 6 minutes.
Then give me 6 minutes, sir.
This man.
Yeah.
In Mount Salem,
The Churchill, is the Churchill,
Well, in Mount Salem,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she lost Mount Salem. In Granville, she lost Granville. In Spring Gardens, she won Spring Gardens. So she won Spring Gardens. She lost Mount Salem by 10 points. She lost
10
Granville.
vote.
Yeah, 10 points.
10 points is a lot.
10 points. She lost Granville by more than 20 points. And she won.
There were 200 vote that then.
Eh? No man.
There were 200 vote that.
Michael Thorpe got 1,676 votes. Jovian Kurd only got 920. That's quite
That's a whole heap, man.
significant. So if you are losing,
There's 700 vote that.
yes, and Spring Gardens, she won Spring Gardens by 700 votes. So she only won one of the divisions. So Mount Salem by 10, Granville by more than 20, almost 30 points to losing Granville by. That is not.
So it's safe to say then, neighbor, that if it was a general election, should have lost that seat then.
And that is the point we are trying to look at. I mean, regardless of how you want to be emotive about it.
All right. You can look on it two ways. You can look on it, you know. You know, say you can look on it. She can lose the local and the general just came stronger.
No,
For sometimes stats show you see, you can't say my stats right and stats prove it wrong, you know.
Yeah.
About the forecasting mark.
Allow me to tell Scotchy.
She
Right, man.
as a candidate is
See that happen already, man.
gonna need support.
Regular we see that happen. The dynamic at time are different.
Yes.
For some people say, watch it, just me know I constant, they must vote for you, but the general no, they must give vote for the MP. For some people working on Scotchy.
Yeah.
So you can't we have a two opinion, you know. Yeah, just you know some rate here, you know. I just
Right.
Yeah.
No, I vote for no council, but me vote for the MP.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jamaica have the culture, the full in of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to have that there because that's how we can raise it. Some people are dunce and naive, brother.
Yeah.
But we can't have the discussion. They see me say, hello, neighbor. And then I have to know the demographic, you know.
Yes.
So some with the Churchill, I say, they win by 62 there. You see it. You see me dealing. Mansa must stop chat the crap. Granville always be PMP. But they see Anchovy and them place one long hill where you go to Montego Bay, one long hill so where you go straight back for a whole part in the Mount Carey and them place you know. And Bogue and them place you know, brother. Flankers and thing, you see it.
No, where Homer Davis was, you see? Catadupa,
Yeah.
they lost that.
Catadupa, St. James.
They lost
Yeah.
Catadupa.
That a bit bad. Hold on. Hello, neighbor. You know the Catadupa bad, some in a Trillan and a Wakefield. They don't want me drive my name for the last time. Some know the Catadupa the far door.
Yes.
Catadupa and St. James is a far, you know?
Yes. They lost Maroon Town. They lost Catadupa by about 12% points. Maroon Town, they lost that by about 3. Welcome Hall, they lost that by about 5. And they only won Cambridge. So you see now, there is no question that there are PNP votes here. They are going to pull these out, you know. And remember that the figures that we are looking at here, the PNP is looking at the same figures. They are going to go into Constituency.
Yeah, and them can help on the figure and it choke them too. Book will run through them nose. Anyway, look more. Scratchy, big up yourself, bad bro.
No fluff, my G.
Alright.
Cool.
My neighbor, we have to just be as realistic as possible, no matter how we love the party.
Well, I try to bring that perspective based on the numbers to say, hey,
Yes, because numbers don't lie, you know. And we can't say this and say that the numbers don't lie.
as much as you want to be emotive about this, remember that they are live votes, and I continue to say to the folks that listen to me, you are not going into the election with an opposition on the back foot. They are on the front foot, and they are going to be pulling out all the stops. And it's just important for you to have the facts and to have your information, not true?
Yes, we have to be realistic as possible.
Realistic.
We have to be as
And
realistic.
also to admit where you see some weaknesses.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
that is the only way we're gonna be able to fix it if we can see it and admit it.
Correct.
We
Correct.
say that yes, we have a downfall right here or we have a shortfall right here. But
Every
as a
label,
neighbor,
you
most
want
of us we are just on the ground. We just talk, but the head and the hierarchy of the party know exactly what is going on.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure that they would want the party to win all 62 seats. it's
Because realistically for me, neighbor, when we talk and we tell persons that it's a possibility or it's even more likely that we're gonna lose back some of the seats in Westmoreland, the person might say, no, we'll take Westmoreland. Be realistic, guys. 2020 was like a default. Yes, we're gonna lose back Westmoreland. The local government show you that they come out back. They're fine back themselves. When you think about Westmoreland, you think we're gonna lose back some of Westmoreland.
all right, Scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, man. My time has run out to here.
No problem, man.
I am getting up. I have to run to another meeting. So thank you so much. You hear?
Yeah, man, respect.
Thank you all you guys who stayed with us. We'll be back at another time to engage further. Thank you so much.